Hello, I'm Carly McAvoy. I'm solving equations today by factoring. This is the second part that I'm doing. The first part we did a little simpler problems. These are a little more complicated. These are the three problems that we're going to solve in this video. To solve a second power equation called quadratic equations, we use the zero product property. The only thing different about these problems from the last ones that we did is for these problems, we need to rearrange the equation before we can factor. So that makes them a little more complicated. So in this equation, I have x squared equals negative 5x minus 6. To use the zero product property, I need to get my equation to equal 0. So what I need to do first in this equation is add 5x and 6 to both sides, which gives me x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. So I'm going to factor this. And how many solutions would I expect for this equation? Well, I would expect 2 because it's a second power equation. The first term goes over the first column, the last term goes over the second column, and down below I have my middle term. I put my signs there because I want you to think about this one for a second. Obviously, x squared is going to be x times x. And what some people will do is go, oh, I want 5. 1 and 6 should be good, right? So when you multiply across, though, you get x and 6x. And the only way you can get 5 is if x would be negative. But that would make that negative. And what we have up here is a positive 6, not a negative 6. So if you really are careful about your signs, you should be able to catch that it's not going to be 6 and 1. This is a tricky one because another way to get to 5 would be 2 and 3. Multiplying across would be 2x and 3x, and that would add up to 5x. So our answer is actually x plus 2 and x plus 3. Now to find that's our factored form. Now to find our answer, we set each of those equal to 0. Each of those factors, and that gives us negative 2 and negative 3. So x equals negative 2 and negative 3. There's two solutions that we would expect because it was to the second power. Could I check that? Sure enough, I could do my original equation is negative 2 squared and then negative 5 times negative 2 minus 6. So that gives me 4 equals 10 minus 6, and that checks out. What about negative 3? Well, negative 3 squared equals negative 5 times negative 3 minus 6. And that's 9 equals 15 minus 6. That's also true. So that checks out. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is in all kinds of funky things in this one. We got parentheses in there. We got stuff on both sides. Remember, we want to set it equal to 0. We can't just say p equals 45 and p minus 4 equals 45. There's no 45 property of 0. This is the zero product, right? So we have to first distribute this. That's going to be p squared minus 4p, and then we're going to subtract 45 from both sides to set that equal to 0. So we distribute and we move the 45. Now we can factor that. Let's see if we can do this without the box, because I'm thinking of two numbers that multiply to 45 but could add up to negative 4. They multiply to negative 45, but so to me 9 and 5 jumps out because 9 times 5 is 45 and 9 and 5 have a difference of 4, so that's probably what I'm looking for. You can also use the box. I'm not saying not to. I'm just trying to show you that maybe you don't always need to use the box method. Which one of those should be negative? Well, I want negative 4, so I want the bigger number to be negative. So there's my factored form. And now I'm going to set each of those equal to 0 and subtract 5 here and add 9 here. And I get my answers are negative 5 and positive 9. I'll leave the check to you as well. All right, number 3 is similar to the last two. We have to set this equal to 0 in order to get to use that zero product property. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. Y squared minus 7y minus 8 equals 0. The factors of 8 are 1 and 8 and 2 and 4. So when you look at that, you could say, well, I'm shooting for 7. I must need to use 1 and 8. So that might make this another one that you don't need the box method for. If you need the box method, then use it. 1 and 8. I want -7, so I want the greater number to be negative and the lesser number to be positive. So y plus 1 is 0, and y minus 8 is 0. Y is -1 or positive 8. So I would say y is -1 or 8. That's it. That's the solution. It makes sense that we have two answers because we had something to the second power. You can always check your answer. I didn't check the last one, so I'll do this one for you. -1 is supposed to equal 8, and -1 squared is 1 plus 7. That does equal 8. Yep. What about 8? 8 squared minus 7 times 8 is supposed to equal 8. 64 minus 56. Yep, it does. All right, so there's your solving equations, a little more difficult. Have a fantastic day.